All right, number 7. First of all, let's check out the rest of the Gnaw trailer. Go. Radio Gox here. Yeah, check it. Transgender hate mail. Seeing Gnaw. Gnaw footage. Yeah, get you can eat certain enemies. And certain enemies can eat him. Yeah, you gotta watch out for that. There's a roller coaster. You can do tail whips, jump and shoot fireballs at enemies, and swim around. And there's like a piranha enemy or an angler enemy. You have to jump around as a creature. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Very alien hominid, very flash animation style. Looks pretty cool. So, no, looks good. Let's see here. What was I saying? Transgender hate mail, homosexual hate mail, atheist hate mail. Basically, me reacting to a bunch of screencasts on YouTube and DeviantArt. There are responsive comments. I mean, against deviant lifestyles and a few other things. Trigger warning. If you don't like what I'm saying, go ahead, click off the video and go watch something else. Do not like hate speech for my videos, because there is no hate speech for my videos. It's speech you hate, that's a different story. Also, it's warning you vaccination helps out spread of germs. Yeah, a lot of some diseases are making a comeback because people aren't getting vaccinated like they should, so it's going to vaccinate it, you know. And you'll be sick for a little bit because, yeah, when you get vaccinated, your body is introduced to the germ that you're trying to get vaccinated against. So your body will react, so you can get a little sick. But eventually your body will heal and be stronger against it. You'll get the antibodies. And that's really good. So let's continue on here. Got non-comments. Someone says, there'll be a little overlap with this we're going to talk about, so let's continue on. Jazz, Dinosaur, Meteor. Some of the folks having a very strong vision. Yeah, very nice. God of War Lao Fei hate mail. Here you go. Someone says, man, it's like history is repeating itself. Someone else. Alana, it's about me. It's all about me. God of War fans, no one asked for this. Schrodinger's writer, a paradox where Pierce simultaneously did and did not write something, depending on how much people liked it. This is not God of War, says someone else. Angry face emoji. If she was on a team of writers that did a small part, this game is This is the game I wrote. Is insanely egotistical. So full time employed for 4 years writing, only to get it all replaced. No wonder games are so expensive. If they have people endlessly write, they're trashing it. It's true. I'm a woman who's been a proud citizen of the gaming world and grew up in the 90s, 2000s. This absolute crap game, God of Laundry, is made for me. Well, it is for me. What the heck? What the heck? No, forget FOH with this mess. I want to break from laundry and rip and dismember enemies as freaking Kratos. Only people who appreciate, care about, and understand gaming and write good storylines for gamers. May the memes of this game continue for years to come. Well deserved. True. Yeah, God of War Laundry, they call it. Because, yeah, they're basically saying that the cube in God of War Lao Fei is like, they replace him with a washing machine. Yeah, the cube is a problem. Yeah, everything else, in my opinion, I don't like that they're basically not just replacing Kratos. You can have spin-offs. I have no problem with a spin-off. But not just replacing Kratos with Lao Fei, with, not Lao Fei, homegirl, Freya or whatever her name is. They're saying, yeah, she's the one who's guided Kratos throughout the whole entire game. Both new games, she's guided Kratos. It's her axe, that's fine, but she's guided Kratos. She's the one that behind the scenes. I hate that stuff because it's like retconning. Because it's like, Kratos can't do anything by himself. He needs help suddenly from our fanfiction protagonist. I hate that stuff. Then you have the fact that it's like everything was okay other than that. She's a warrior, so she can fight. So I have no problem with her being able to fight. She is able to wear armor. She's able to get a weapon and use it, a sword and use it. That's fine. You have a magical sword or sword accessory that talks, fine with me. But then the cube is weird. I don't understand what it's a cube. I was thinking it should be Thor, because then Thor was killed in Ragnarok. So why not have him come there and be one of the characters she has to hang out with to fight against the bad guys? That'd be fine. Then it'd be like a cool. They said she fought Thor, and actually did a pretty good job against him. So you're saying this girl who's not a god fought against a god, a full god, pretty much. Maybe a demigod, but probably a full god, I'd say. Thor, God of Thunder, She fought against him and it did a pretty good job. So, yeah, to have a relationship where they no longer want to kill each other. Not necessarily romantic, but a relationship where they finally become closer to being friends, at least. Would be cool, but they didn't do that. They put a cube out there, and the cube was weird. It's just a cube. It's a giant blue cube. And it's like it fights. It has a sword stabbed in it. And then it basically bumps into Dragon Fire guy, and it's like, what the heck? Everything works except for the cube. I don't like the cube. Girl definitely looks old, like 50 years old, but who cares? You know, that's annoying to me, but it's not the worst thing. The worst thing is the cute, so it's weird. Someone says, good game news mail, part one. The Hollow Knight and Silksong devs are in Australia. That explains why almost every 6 that you meet is trying to kill you. Live to your cry emoji. Happy 2026 Wizard. The real life fake wizard. Very nice. Got a heart from real life fake wizard. Feels good going into 26 without Disney Plus. Some day I like to create my own CG anime, and I'm trying to learn Blender, but I can only sculpt chibi heads so far, but I'm going to keep at it. Also, I've done sound design, 2D art, and video editing. You inspire me to create even more. Thumbs up. The winners are those who create art. Mew Sue. Yakuza Pirate Mashima gotta be on here. Your crystal ball is still intact. I definitely thought it was cracked a while back, but hey, a broken ball can still be right sometimes. Good game news mail part 2. OMG, the mainstream media gives the best recommendations for games ever. If they don't like it, I buy it. If they don't like it, buy it. Yeah, that's right, link emoji. So welcome back, Dr. Disaster. Having a game with urinalist basher game is the best kind of free marketing. Just wishlisted it. Smiley face emoji. Even if I don't play it, I will versus to support. Sold. This has been live do cry emojis. This has been on my radar since the game into existence. Black person doing this, heart and lock emojis. The greatest adventure story from the Bible. Ooh, yeah. This is a part of my childhood. I didn't realize where it was from, but now I know where it's from because of the Wikipedia article. That does help. The Greatest Adventure Story from the Bible is an animated direct-to-video film series produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions that tells of 3 young adventurers who travel back in time to watch biblical events take place. Now, I'm thinking that's what I call VeggieTales Superbook, the 3D CG Superbook that has nothing to do with the anime Superbook, that the original anime Superbook from the 1980s, but except for the fact that the characters' names are Chris, Joy, and Gizmo, I think they took some inspiration from the Greatest Adventure Story from the Bible. I think they did take it a little bit. But they probably took a little bit of inspiration from many things, including the original Superbook, but they changed some things up, which is great. Because in the original Superbook, cute chibi anime Superbook, there was a part where Cain kidnaps Joy. Okay, these kids are around 10, 11 years old. 10, 11 years old. They're Asian, so they look even younger. And Cain from the Bible, kidnaps Joy, knocks out Chris and Gizmo, kidnaps Joy, and is hanging out with her by himself for a while. Thankfully he's just being a jerk, just hanging out, just lying around, not doing anything except for complaining. But still, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's been captured by a caveman. A guy who's the first murderer. Oh my gosh, he's a crazy bad dude. And so it was really weird. That one was not used in the new Superbook. And I'm pretty sure in Greatest Adventure Story from the Bible with Margot, Derek, and Loki, they never went to Eden. They never met Cain and Abel. What happened was they hung out in the biblical times, and they met some people like Moses, but not really. But with this one, it was a person saying, "Hey, dude, telling a story, an old man telling a story about Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and stuff like that." So yeah, but I don't know about Cain and Abel, but they definitely Adam and Eve. So sometimes they don't go to the person, they go to someone who knew the person, and they talk about it. Like Jonah talked about stuff with them after the events happened. Someone from was raised from the dead by Jesus talks about how Jesus was awesome and did miracles to them. So definitely different things happened in this one. I liked it a lot. They definitely would not like this one because they might like it because Derek is looking kind of hunky. Okay, but Margot looks amazing. Moki is very stereotypically whatever he is. He's like young Middle Eastern, young Arabian, kind of, though he wears like 1980s looking clothes. He's got a backwards facing cap. He's about I'd say Moki is about 14, 15 years old. Yeah, he's about 14, 15 years old. He's basically he has definitely an accent like from someone from an Arabian country. He's voiced by a white man, Rob Paulson, I believe. Yeah, and he's basically is the silly one. You know, Derek can be silly, Margot can be silly too, but definitely is Moki most of the time having issues where he's running around being like, oh, it's like, well, no, get away, oh, it's you know, stuff like that, like, oh, like he should have this. There was one time he got in trouble with a food vendor for messing up his melons. He had a bunch of melons, and he like basically was tried to throw the last melon onto the cart, and it destroyed it blew up, it destroyed the cart, and sent the melons all over the place. He's like, you. So he's like, so he's run away, and Margot and Derek find him and grab him and pull him into aside into an alley. And he's like, let me guess, it wasn't your fault. Like, it wasn't. You should have had a bigger contour, smaller melons. Well, we should have faster feet. Oh no, they all run away from him. So it's like, oh shit. So like, yeah, there's definitely some stuff that they call racist, and some stuff they call sexist, because they'd be like, oh yeah, Margot. One episode, Margot is hanging out with Esther, okay, in the Bible. And Esther becomes queen. Margot is forced to be lady in waiting and stuff like that. She's just grabbed, taken, she's forced to go. If she doesn't go, she'll be killed. That's basically what happens. It's like, Buster. She's like, oh no, Buster. I have, it's like, listen here, Buster. I'm not going to the palace. I got plenty of places to go. The palace is not one of them. Buster, I am Tarsek, officer of the king, and it's not on my life. She's like, not on your life, Buster. I got more things to do. She's like, it's not on my life if you refuse, but on yours. He's like, guy fellas, help me, get me out of here. He's like, so don't worry, you'll be out on the first ballot. They say, it's like, oh, first ballot, huh? Come on, Esther, let's go, come on. I'm like, yeah, they wouldn't like that. They wouldn't like that. Yeah. There's one time when she hung out with the king of Babylon right before he was taken. He got usurped, and his kingdom was taken by the Medes and Persians. She tripped and fell in front of the king, and she's like, "I gotta meet the king." He's like, "No," like effeminate servant of his was like, no. She like pushed past him and fell on the ground in front of him. It's like, hi, king. He's like, he's like, I'm sorry, that's a new servant, that next new servant, you're fired. He's like, it's like, no, we are tolerant. Like, actually, that'd be cool. Most likely he would do that. You're like, no, we are tolerant. Just see it doesn't happen tonight. Don't leave. So I'm just like, yeah, I'd be tolerant. Margot is pretty cute, but yeah, definitely. They would not like her because she's not the best at everything. She's not a superwoman. She's amazing and awesome, but she's not a superwoman. She's very tomboyish. She's very capable, but she's not perfect. They don't. So woke would not like her. Also, she looks like a woman. So yeah, woke would not like her very much. Derek, of course, is all hunky and wonderful and amazing. He is the strongest of the group. One of the smartest of the group. Margot's, I think, the smartest, but yeah, Derek is pretty smart as well. They're very intellectual and could become a couple, and maybe have. I don't know. At least definitely some shipping going on there. Of course, there'll be some people out there trying to ship other characters together, and I'm like, nope. This is like the Ash and Brock thing. I don't care. I don't see that as canon. Nope. Nope. But let's go. So, yeah, Derek and Margot, two young archaeologists, are on a dig, accompanied by their nomad friend, a boy named Moki. They find themselves trapped in a sinking whirlpool of sand. Finally, it settles to look at all in a vast chamber filled with giant relics and artifacts from another spaceship. This is actually the words from the introduction. That's on every episode. Our civilization. There comes across the far end of the cavern a door with a strange description, an ancient ruin that turns out to be a portal through time, as the narrator said. All who enter these portals pass through time. Though the introduction is the same in all videos, each episode sends the three friends into a different story from the Bible. They often interact with principal figures from the story, but without any significant effect upon the plot, so as not to alter the course of history. In other episodes, they arrive decades after the events depicted in the Bible and are relayed the story by first-hand witnesses. By a first-hand witness. Yeah, that's true. The episodes were not released in an order consistent with biblical chronology, but can be constructed to give a coherent story beginning with the creation and ending with the Easter story. The first 6 episodes, released simultaneously, relate the Old Testament stories, with episodes relating to the life of Jesus being added among some additional Old Testament stories as the series progressed. Each individual episode features celebrity voices in principal biblical roles. Yes, God was voiced by this one dude, I think, who was also, what's his name? Frodo. He was Frodo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. He voiced a character in Mighty Ducks. He was the butler for Lex Luthor in Lois and Clark. He was a very awesome voice. That old man from Star Trek. There was a little that he also was the dude who won the Mary Alexander Troy in Star Trek, but then balked when they found out that you had to do it naked. You had to marry. Beta says marry naked. They attend the ceremony naked. So when she showed up naked in defiance of his orders, basically of his way of life, basically, they were like, "Oh my gosh, she naked! What? You can't be naked. You can't do that." I was like, "Well, this is my thing. You don't like me." Expressing my own, Betazoid heritage, man. What the heck, Maybe we shouldn't be together then, or something like that. It's like, oh, very well, fine, whatever. And he and his assistant leave. It's like, oh my gosh, like, but that's what they do. So she didn't accept him. He didn't accept her as a person. He's just seeing her as just someone to marry, So yeah, when she basically was like, I'm expressing my Betazoid heritage, just gonna do that. I know they wouldn't like that, but I'm gonna do it. See what happens. He's like, nope, we're done. But still, he played God talking to Jonah. Margot Derek and Moki. Greatest adventure stories of the Bible. We went long, didn't we? Yeah, it was really awesome. It's a foundational, in my opinion, a foundational biblical story series. You should watch that. But definitely some things that they would definitely not be allowed if woke had anything to do with it, because it definitely is like, okay, like a lot of the men are doing the main stuff. David kills Goliath, yes. So Moses frees the slave. Moses and Aaron free the slave, like with God's help, yeah. Pharaoh's in charge of Egypt, yes. That's how it was back then. So bad. Esther's queen though, like but Vashti was just sent away by King Xerxes or whatever. Yeah, that's how it was. Sorry, woke. What we got? We're most likely overboard. Yep, we went overboard. See you guys next time. Check me out on YouTube, TV, and Art.